Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your friend Bats. My name is Jared, and today I want to talk about the Fantastic Four movie. And on Saturday, my fiance and I went to Sacramento, and we did the Super Fantastic. So we got to see Superman a second time. Then we went to Big Brother Comics, got ourselves some comics. I got some Superman books. She got some Darwin Cook Parker books. And then we went and saw Fantastic Four in IMAX. And I went in with the thought that I like the trailers. It looks good. Fantastic Four are some of my favorite characters in Marvel. And I really hope this movie puts Marvel back in good graces with me as a moviegoer. And I guess, honestly, when I stopped watching the Marvel movies after Spider-Man 3, or whatever the nostalgia one was called. Far From Home, Away From Home, Homeless. I don't remember what it's called. No Way Home. And so I saw it. It was cool. The first time, second time was whatever. But I'm here to talk about Fantastic Four. And then I didn't watch any of the other ones coming out, and I kind of fell off the TV shows. And since I've been home here on disability, I've been kind of catching up with Marvel. And I know a lot of people dislike a lot of the Marvel movies recently. And so far, what I have seen, I haven't seen them all, but what I've seen, I don't think they're as bad as people make them out to be. Like, I'm not going in there for great cinema. I'm just kind of going in there for a silly action adventure romp with like sitcom humor. That's what I know what I'm getting myself into. Same with like your Transformers movie. The alien robots got to find the magical space box thing, and the bad guys get it and the good guys get it, and so on and so forth. Same with all those types of movies. I know what I'm getting myself into, and so I never go in there with high expectations. But with Fantastic Four, I had a little bit of high expectations because I really like the Fantastic Four. And as much as I enjoyed the very first film, whenever that came out, 2004 or something, I knew it wasn't good. It wasn't as good compared to Spider-Man or the X-Men films. But, I did like it for what it was. And as a very young man at the time, I definitely liked Jessica Alba in a blue leather costume. With that being said, going into this new Fantastic Four, I wanted it to be successful. I wanted to go in there and be like, that was awesome. And taking my fiance, who has no, not information, but she has no idea really who the Fantastic Four are. She knows there's four of them. They wear blue costumes because she sees me reading the books from time to time. And as a wrestling fan, she knows CM Punk's catchphrase, "It's clobbering time," comes from the Rock guy from Fantastic Four. That's pretty much all her knowledge prior to going into this movie. And so as I'm watching the film, I'm starting to realize I really like this movie. This is really cool. This is a lot of fun. I was really we saw it in the trailers, but just as the view, I saw it on IMAX, so I was just watching it on the biggest screen. I was just so impressed with the set design, the production value of like the same thing when I watched Barbie. I was like, man, they really put their heart and soul into making Barbie world a Barbie world. And that's kind of how I felt like watching Fantastic Four. I was like, wow, like I really love this look of this 60s futuristic Jetson-y New York. And as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, I just kind of want the Marvel movies to look like this now. And I was like, because one of the things I don't like about the Marvel movies is like, it's all that like, it's essentially like militarization of superheroes, and everything needs to be like a military suit, and it just doesn't like, that's why Fantastic Four was so fun, is like seeing, it was very cartoony, just like Superman. And I'm kind of like now in the mindset, I'm like, this is where superhero movies need to be. They need to embrace the silliness of the superhero world while keeping the characters in the connected to the audience. The world can be a cartoon, but if the characters are relatable as like people, and I don't want to give away too much of the film, but like we know from the commercials and the trailers and stuff that like Sue's pregnant, she's going to have a baby. We all know, if you're a comic book reader and you know who Fantastic Four, it's going to be Franklin. And so like that dynamic, is real. And so like there you got this dad who's a scientist and he's worried about his, having a kid. You got the cool uncles. You got the mom who holds the family together. Like that was very real. And like, I really liked that. And that's, and that's one of the things that I love about Fantastic Four, is that they are a family and they're dynamic as a family. So that's why I really love this movie. And yeah, I said it. I love this movie. I cannot wait to own this movie on Blu-ray. I'm going to buy it when it comes out. Why I love this movie was that it really captured the family dynamic of Fantastic Four. And that, I was like, they did it. They, fourth time is the charm. They finally got Fantastic Four right. Awesome. I never saw Fan Four Stick, so I can't make a really opinion, but I hear it's terrible. I saw the commercials. I'm like, that's not FF. I'm not gonna waste my time. And I like the original, no, not original, not the unreleased, but the one with Jessica Alba. I like those ones. I thought, I was watching it actually in the hospital recently back in February. And I was just like, man, this movie kicks ass. I like this movie. Galactus looks silly. It's dumb. But overall, I enjoy that movie. And so, but they didn't really ever capture the family. They're like, they all felt like actors acting, where this group really felt like they've lived together. They've been through some stuff together. They know each other maybe a little bit better than they know themselves in some ways, and it just felt right. And so, and my fiance, like I turned to her about halfway through the movie, and I was like, "Do you like the movie?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's really good." And so, I'm like, okay, halfway, so we're on the right track. And then when it ended, I was like, so what'd you think? She's like, I really liked that movie. That was really good. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, right on. And her and I kind of talked about it a lot on the ride home, talking about, we've seen Superman and I asked her, I was like, which one do you like more? And she's like, I hate being asked these questions. I mean, I like both of them for their own thing. But what she was telling me is what she really loved about Superman was how fast-paced and how straight to the action it was. But then what she really liked about Fantastic Four is this one was slower. And we really got, she's more invested in Superman. She's watched Superman animated series, Superman and Lois. She's watched My Adventures of Superman. We're watching Justice League. She watched Smallville as a kid. She's more invested. And she just really loved the fast pace, the dogs in it, right? But what she liked about this one was the world, the set pieces, as well as the family dynamic. She really liked the characters and how she said, and she was saying, and I agree with her here that like this was kind of the first. She's like, this is one of the best Marvel movies I've ever seen, which I agree with. When it comes to MCU stuff, but she also talked to me about the humor. She said it didn't feel forced; it felt natural, and maybe it was because they're family members and they have that family dynamic, and it felt more natural. And I was like, I could see that. I agree. Yeah, like there wasn't that like he's behind me, is he? Like kind of humor in this one. It was just like, Johnny and Ben being idiots together, and like maybe the straight man's comedy came from with Reed and Ben and Johnny, and then like Salsa's straight man with Sue, with her brother and Ben, and so. But I just really genuinely like this movie. I highly recommend seeing it in theaters. The Silver Surfer thing, with Silver Surfer not being Norrin Rad and being Shia LaBeouf, that didn't bother me. And I think if you watch the movie, Perch spoiled it. So if you've seen Perch's video, like he explains it, but like it does give one of the characters, it makes it make sense. Like it's not, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to give anything away really. But the Shia LaBeouf thing didn't bother me. Galactus was cool. And I seen some of the behind the scenes stuff that they filmed it, like they filmed Godzilla movies from back in the day, that they wanted like practical 1960s effects. That makes me happy as like a film nerd. And yeah, I just straight up like this movie a lot. And I also really appreciate the fact that there's not another Marvel movie that I gotta go see immediately after this, or TV show I gotta watch immediately after it. This movie really felt almost very similar like Perch had said, like similar to Iron Man, where you feel like you're in a beginning. And like, I kind of hope when they say they're gonna like slightly reboot Marvel Universe, I really hope it's in this retro futuristic 1960s aesthetic of, I hope that they go to the 828 world instead of, like the 616. They get rid of 616 and put all the heroes in the 828 world and kind of reboot the timeline a little bit. I really like this visual for Marvel. It really has a good look. And so, really liked Fantastic Four. Really looking forward to, not seeing another superhero movie until the summer. We got Supergirl and Spider-Man 4 in the summer. That's awesome. Not till 2026 is there a Marvel and DC movie coming out, so that's fantastic. Pun intended. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.